Breaking news! Coming with the latest news just for you, we're headed to another showdown, so we've got a lot to discuss. If you're a die-hard fan who doesn't want to be left out, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get right to the news. This Sunday, our Cleveland Browns head to Huntington Bank Field to take on the Cincinnati Bengals, and they have a tough task ahead of them. Both teams are still looking for their first divisional win of the season, with the Browns at 1-5 and the Bengals just ahead at 2-4. Despite their record, however, Cincinnati's offense has been performing at a high level, something Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is well aware of. Schwartz had some interesting insights into Bengals QB Joe Burrow and the rest of his offense. Even with the Bengals' 2-4 record, Schwartz believes Burrow is playing like a top-tier quarterback, comparing him to legends like Eli Manning and Peyton Manning. That's high praise, but it's hard to argue when you look at Burrow's stats. The Bengals have averaged almost 30 points per game over their last 3 outings, and Burrow has been the key to that offensive surge. Wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase has been unstoppable, racking up 350 yards and 3 touchdowns in just the last 3 games. And don't forget Burrow's epic Week 5 performance against the Ravens, where he nearly hit 400 passing yards and tossed 5 touchdowns. So yeah, Schwartz isn't exaggerating when he says Burrow doesn't look like a QB on a 2-4 team. But here's the challenge for the Browns defense: Burrow gets rid of the ball fast. Schwartz pointed out that when Burrow has quick releases, he's incredibly hard to stop. Against the Ravens, Burrow averaged just 2.5 seconds per throw and completed nearly 77% of his passes. Compare that to his Week 6 game against the Giants, where he held onto the ball a bit longer, 3.1 seconds, and his completion percentage dipped significantly. The lesson? Pressure Burrow early and often if we want to disrupt his rhythm. And Browns fans, that's exactly what our defense needs to focus on this Sunday. Schwartz emphasized that getting pressure on Burrow is critical, especially on first and second downs. We need to ruin that timing between Burrow and his star receivers like Chase and T. Higgins. The good news is that the Browns have been one of the best teams in the league when it comes to pressure. We've got the 4th highest pressure rate in the NFL at 39.1%. But here's the thing, pressure alone isn't enough. As Schwartz mentioned, while we're good at creating pressure, our sack percentage is sitting at 7.4%, ranking 10th in the league. Not bad, but not quite elite either. If we want to shut down Burrow and the Bengals offense, we need to convert that pressure into more sacks. Schwartz is confident that our guys up front, including Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith, can step it up and get back to playing at the level we all expect. Now, the Bengals have been countering defensive pressure by leaning more on their run game. With Joe Mixon now in Houston, Cincinnati has been relying on a running back committee with Chase Brown and Zach Moss, and they've been effective. Combined, they've put up over 500 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns in the first 6 weeks of the season. It's not just Burrow we need to worry about, Browns fans. The Bengals have also been using more 12 personnel, which means they've got 2 tight ends on the field about 23% of the time, one of the highest rates in the league. This strategy has helped them become less predictable on offense, and it's something our defense will need to be prepared for. Schwartz even pointed out that the Bengals' run game is starting to show some San Francisco influence, with more creative blocking schemes and traps. They're even using 2-back sets at times, which has added another dimension to their offense. So what does this all mean for us? Sunday's game will be a battle, no doubt about it. The key for the Browns will be getting after Burrow quickly and efficiently. We need to disrupt his timing, block his receiving options, and force the Bengals into uncomfortable situations. At the same time, we can't forget about their running game. They've found ways to keep defenses guessing, and we need to stay disciplined. But Browns fans, we have the talent to do it. If our defense can step up its pressure game and make life difficult for Burrow, we have a real chance to get our first divisional win. What do you think? Will our defense rise to the occasion and beat Burrow, or will we be in for another tough game? Changing the subject, the Cleveland Browns have officially announced that they will be moving from downtown Cleveland to Brook Park, where they plan to build a new domed stadium. This marks the end of an era for the Browns at Huntington Bank Field, their home since 1999. But it also opens a new chapter for the team in a space designed not only to host football games, but also to become an entertainment hub with retail, residential space, and hotels. The decision has been in the works for months, and the announcement didn't come as a complete shock, but it's certainly sparking mixed emotions. On one hand, the idea of a state-of-the-art domed stadium is exciting. It means we could host more events year-round, from Super Bowls to concerts, without worrying about Cleveland's unpredictable weather. On the other hand, it's tough to think about the Browns leaving the heart of the city. Mayor Justin Bibb expressed his disappointment earlier today. He said that this decision is frustrating and profoundly disheartening, especially given all the recent investments being made to revitalize downtown Cleveland. According to Bibb, the city was ready to work with the Browns to renovate their current home, but in the end, the team chose to pursue the move to Brook Park, which they felt offered more long-term benefits and profitability. Mayor Bibb made it clear that the city put several good faith options on the table to keep the team downtown, but it just wasn't enough. Now, you can imagine this news doesn't sit well with many downtown businesses, especially with all the work going into revitalizing the lakefront. It's a real hit to Cleveland's economy, and the mayor didn't mince words about how he thinks this decision will affect the city and the region. He's concerned about how it could hurt businesses, undermine public investments, and ultimately cost taxpayers without giving them much in return. But Browns owners Dee and Jimmy Haslam see things differently. They released a statement today explaining their decision. The Haslams stressed that while they originally hoped to keep the stadium downtown, the need for a dome facility became too important to ignore. They believe that building this new stadium in Brook Park, combined with the surrounding development, will bring massive economic benefits, not just for Brook Park, but for all of Northeast Ohio. They claim that the project will be a mix of private and public funding, but the exact details of how much it will cost taxpayers still aren't entirely clear. What is clear is that the Browns are putting up a massive $2.4 billion for the new stadium, though we all know how these things go. Between rising construction costs and potential delays, that number could end up being even higher. The Haslams have promised that existing taxpayer money won't be diverted to pay for this project, and that the revenue generated by the stadium and surrounding area will cover the public debt. But, you know how these projects go, there's always a concern that taxpayers will end up footing some of the bill. As of now, the Browns are still locked into their lease at Huntington Bank Field until 2028, so we've got a few more years before this move actually happens. But this announcement makes it official. The Browns will leave downtown, and Cleveland will need to figure out what to do with that prime lakefront real estate. It's a big shift for the franchise, Browns fans. On one hand, we're talking about a world-class stadium that could put us on the map for major events. But on the other hand, it feels like a tough break for the city that's been home to the Browns for decades. What do you all think? Is this move to Brook Park a step in the right direction for the team and the region, or are we losing something important by leaving downtown? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going. And don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all things Cleveland Browns. Let's see where this journey takes us. Go Browns!